So let's be honest, when was the last time you checked your bank account without that little knot forming in your stomach? Or thought about making a budget, but immediately felt overwhelmed, frustrated, or just plain stuck? If you've ever avoided dealing with your money, you're not alone. And trust me, this isn't just about numbers. It's about what's happening in your mind first. So today we're diving into the real reasons you've been putting off managing your money, what's keeping you stuck, what fears might be holding you back, and most importantly, how to shift your mindset so that you can finally take control of your finances without fear, guilt, or restriction. Because here's the truth. Avoiding your money isn't making things better. It's keeping you trapped. But the good news, there's a way out, and it starts with what I'm going to be sharing with you here today. So if you're ready to stop feeling stressed about money and start feeling in control, let's do this. Well, hey there, I am Jennifer Roskamp, a certified life coach and homeschool mom of 9 who is passionate about helping women just like you embrace the here and now while also being focused on creating the life you actually want. As a midlife mom in her 40s, about to be a mom in my 50s, I've realized that it's so easy to lose yourself in caring for your family, your home, and all the things. Until one day you realize you're not even sure who you are anymore or what you even want in life. So on this podcast, we're going to work on managing yourself well so that you can manage all of the other things and people well too. So let's dive into what it means to manage your home, your time, your family, and yourself well. This is the Intentional Midlife Mom podcast. So let me first off let you know that the reason we are talking about money specifically here and now today is because my money coaching program, Thriving on a Dime, is open for enrollment for the only time in 2025. And you can get the first 30 days for only $7. After that, it's only $39 a month. And let me tell you, people are saving $600, $1,000, even more than $1,000 in the first month alone. Go to thrivingonadime.com so that you can take advantage of this 7-day, 30-day trial. Money is one of those things that we all tend to struggle with. We haven't learned a lot about it. And in reality, when I asked you if you avoided checking your bank account, I'm sure that this can relate to you at some point in your life. We avoid looking at our bank account because we know it's just not going to be good news, or it just felt uncomfortable. So we need to first start off with acknowledging the idea that money can feel scary, but avoiding it isn't making it any better. And so we're going to be diving into the why, because if you've never heard me talk about the why as a life coach, it is so important. I will tell you as a life coach, it is so important to understand the why. So if you've ever felt stuck financially, I can almost guarantee it's because of one or more of these 5 mindset blocks. So let's talk about what they are and what to do about them. So the first mindset block is the fear of facing the truth. Deep down, you're likely afraid of what you're going to find. Maybe you already know that you're overspending. Maybe you already know that the debt is piling up, or maybe you don't want to admit that you've lost control. These are all normal things. Know that I have been helping people manage their money for almost 10 years now, and it's not just you. But the idea is that you need to know where you stand. You have to know what you are working with. Knowing where you stand is the first step to changing it. Here's what you need to know. Avoiding your money doesn't change your reality. It just delays the solution. Let me say that again. Avoiding your money doesn't change your reality. It just delays the solution. Avoidance is one of the things that we do. I work with coaching clients all the time on avoidance. Avoidance is one of the reasons why we don't take action in all sorts of things. But I know, like you maybe know, that avoiding the reality of your money is like a crushing weight. But the idea is that you have to start with where you're at. So you need to think about your money a little bit like stepping on a scale before starting a fitness journey. You need to know where you're at to be able to measure how you're doing. It's also true that the number doesn't define you. It just gives you that starting point. Fear of facing the truth is so paralyzing. But when we understand, then we can determine what to do from there. You have to understand so that you can choose your intentional responses. You need to see the full picture to know what you're going to do from there. You've got to know that starting point. So fear of facing the truth, it's not going away. You might as well face it and figure out how to move forward with what you discover. So that's the mindset block number 1. Mindset block number 2, fear of restriction and losing freedom. A lot of times when people start working with me in Thriving on a Dime, they think that I'm going to tell them they have to stop buying things. They can't spend frivolous money. There will be no more splurges. There will be no more impulse buying. They think I'm going to tell them no. And I don't. The idea is that so often we believe that managing money means saying no to absolutely everything that you enjoy. No coffee, no Target runs, no Amazon shopping spree, no fun. But here's what we know is that managing your money, and specifically working with a budget, it doesn't take away freedom. It gives freedom. You've probably spent money before and felt that buyer's remorse. And that buyer's remorse can often be present simply because we don't know. And we're looking back at that. We're kind of, it's kind of due to that mindset block number 1, that avoidance, right? So the idea, though, is that actually when you know where your money is going and you're spending it in an intentional way, you actually experience freedom. Living paycheck to paycheck, now that's restriction. Swiping your card and hoping it won't decline, that is restriction. A budget is what gives you the power to spend guilt-free on the things that matter most. Again, guilt-free is the opposite of that buyer's remorse. And a budget allows you to experience that. No more hoping that your husband doesn't notice what you've spent, right? No more waiting for the after Christmas hangover when you wonder, oh my gosh, I know that we overspent, but how bad is it? No more. A budget puts all of those to rest. Think of a budget like a roadmap, not a prison. It's not about cutting out everything. It's about choosing where your money goes on purpose. Let me repeat that. A budget is about choosing where your money goes on purpose. So fear of restriction and losing freedom is mindset block number 2. Mindset block number 3, the I'll figure it out later trap. Man, we can relate to this on so many levels, not just our money, can't we? So a lot of times what this looks like is that you end up telling yourself that one day you'll magically have more money. And again, we do this in other ways too. We think we'll magically have more time, or we'll magically have a better system. But what do we also know to be true? We also can universally agree that later actually never comes. And so what you need to accept is this truth. Later is actually a lie, because if nothing changes now, nothing changes later. Let me say that again. Later is a lie. If nothing changes now, nothing changes later. Waiting until you make more money or have more time, it keeps you stuck in the same cycle. The habits that you build today determine your financial future. If you want to know what your financial future looks like, look at how you are spending money and managing your money and saving your money today. What does that look like? Because today determines your financial future. So when it comes to thinking about managing your finances and entertaining this idea that you'll get more disciplined later, or you'll figure it out later, or you'll start a budget later, think of these concepts like planting a tree. The best time to do it was years ago. You've heard that cliche. I have too. The best time to do it was years ago. The second best time is right now. So mindset block number 3 is the I'll figure it out later trap. Mindset block number 4, the fear of failing or messing it up. I have given countless workshops, presentations, whether for my people or at a summit presentation or on some other stage. I have talked about failing and failure so many times because it is something that paralyzes us in almost every aspect of our lives at one point or another. When it comes to your money, what's probably happening here is that you don't trust yourself. Maybe you've tried to budget before and you failed. And so maybe you've just accepted this idea that you're bad with money. But what you need to understand and accept is that you don't have to get it perfect. You just have to start. As with anything, it's getting over that getting started hurdle that's the toughest point. That's the hardest part in the journey, 9 times out of 10. And what keeps us from even attempting is that perfectionism. I often ask my audiences all over the place, Instagram, Facebook, my email list, on the podcast, in all of my coaching programs, how many people can identify with being a perfectionist, at least in some areas? There is more than 75% of the women I speak to who raise their hand and say, I know that perfection is an issue for me at times. And some of them would know that it's a lot of the time. I call myself a recovering perfectionist. I am actually a firstborn only child. Now, if you're listening to this episode, you likely know that or if you've listened more than just this episode, and by the way, if you're new to this podcast, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. You may know that I actually have siblings. And so you hear me say, you're a firstborn only child. Hang on. You talk about your sisters. That's true. I do have sisters. However, I was almost 9 years old before the first one was born. And so I really am by default then, when you consult the birth order experts, I really am an only child. And I would say I can definitely see those kinds of traits. I am a perfectionist on steroids, but I call myself a recovering perfectionist because over the years, I'm 50 now. Over the years, I've learned that expecting perfection is not attainable. And I have learned how often that cripples me rather than helps me. And so you too have to come to this realization and accept that you don't have to get it perfect. And wow, does that feel freeing when you actually internalize that? And if you've never internalized that before, let this moment be the time when you internalize this knowledge, this truth that you don't have to get it perfect. You just have to start. Because in reality, every skill gets better with practice. You didn't learn to walk without falling. You didn't learn to cook without burning something. And the first time that you made something, whether it's some sort of craft or some sort of new recipe, you probably didn't hit the nail on the head the first time. This is something you're used to. You've already know this. You've already accepted, well, I got to get that better next time. We need to apply that same acceptance, that same level of acceptance to managing your money as well. Managing your money is no different than anything else that you try and just go into it with, I'm just going to try. See how it works out. Let that kind of mindset be how you approach managing your money as well. Do not continue to allow the fear of failing or the fear of messing it up hold you back. Because again, if you want to know what your financial future looks like, look at how you're managing your money today. What we know to be true is in anything, and also with your money, is that small, consistent steps will get you farther than waiting for the perfect plan, the perfect time, the perfect strategy, the perfect feeling, the perfect amount of motivation. None of that is worth waiting for. Because again, we can all agree that you'll be waiting for eternity. So fear of failing or messing it up, that is mindset block number 4. Mindset block number 5 is believing that money management is too complicated. Now, this is something that I know to be true too, from getting to know women and helping women with their money for almost 10 years. I've been doing that in my coaching program, Thriving on a Dime. A lot of women, we assume that this is too hard, that it's too complicated, it's too confusing, and it's too time consuming, or maybe it requires too much math. I wasn't good at math either, let me tell you. But if you don't already know about me, my husband and I got out of debt twice, including our mortgage. So you don't have to be good at math. In fact, I homeschool my kids, and when I taught my oldest daughter 9th and 10th grade, that was algebra. I taught it to her. It was through blood, sweat, and tears. Sometimes hers, sometimes mine. We literally had to figure it out together. Some of it she understood, some of it I understood. But I was reminded of how not good at math I am, that I said, yeah, I'm going to figure out something else for my kids so that they can learn algebra, because I am not capable of teaching this. However, managing your money is not algebra. You can do it, just like I can do it. Because managing your money doesn't have to be complicated. You just need a simple system. In Thriving on a Dime, that is my 24-month money coaching program. You take your time, 1 week, 1 lesson at a time, learning how to manage your money, face your money situation, and create the money future that you want. And again, remember, how you manage your money today, it doesn't just affect you. It affects everyone around you. And if you want to create a better money legacy for your kids, you've got to start. You've got to go first. Most people think that managing money requires spreadsheets and strict budgets. And let me tell you, I am not a fan of spreadsheets at all. I have very reluctantly learned how to use them very minimally. And again, I went to college way back in the day when we had a computer lab that we went to use a computer. We did not even have computers in our homes yet, at least not on a wide scale. So let me just tell you, I never learned how to deal with spreadsheets. And so managing your money doesn't even have to involve a spreadsheet. Really, managing your money can be as simple as 3 steps. You know what's coming in, you know what's going out, and you tell your money where to go on purpose. Think of managing your money like meal planning. You don't need a detailed nutrition plan. You just need a basic idea of what you're eating for the week. So if you've been avoiding your money, chances are it's because of one of these 5 mindset blocks. But again, here's the good news. They can end today. So if this episode hit home, it's because deep down, you know that you want to control your finances. And that is exactly what I help you do inside Thriving on a Dime. This program actually helps solve so many things, including these mindset blocks. If you fear the truth, the program gives you a simple system to face your finances without shame. If you resonated with mindset block number 2, if you fear restriction, Thriving on a Dime teaches you how to budget without sacrificing joy. If you keep putting it off, waiting for later, if mindset block 3 resonated with you, know that the program has built-in accountability. If you fear failing or messing it up, if mindset block number 4 resonated with you, well, I'm just 1 click away. You've got the support and guidance that you need any step of the way. And if you resonated with mindset block number 5, if you feel like it's too complicated, again, the program breaks it down into small, doable steps. So if you're tired of feeling stuck and you're ready to take control, join me inside Thriving on a Dime. Doors are open now only through Friday of this week. Nope, Saturday of this week, they're open. That's right, we gave you 1 extra day. Ooh, and the best part I forgot to mention, in addition to it only being $7 for this first 30 days, I'm also giving away up to 5 bonuses. 5 bonuses also. And these bonuses speak directly to making it easier and quicker for you to get up, get started, and start experiencing financial relief. Because that's really what we want, is relief and hope. And this program helps you do that. Make sure you go to thrivingonadime.com to join us this week only for open enrollment for the only time in 2025. Thriving on a Dime. You guys can do it, and I'm here to help. Until next time, make it a great day.